you all can hear me. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank the ASA, the ASA Hall of Fame Committee, Doug Smith, who contacted me by phone right before his passing to get all the information he could, and I gathered from Joe he did quite a job. But I want to thank Joe for following up. I'm really proud to accept this honor. I've been in Halls of Fame before, but mainly because I was a basketball player. This is a sport that I truly loved. I started when my father managed industrial team back in the 40s. They had 3 pitchers. One pitched windmill style, one pitched figure 8 style, one pitched unorthodox style. I practiced them all at a young age, but that's when I fell in love with softball. I didn't take up softball again until I was in college in my fraternity. And of course, no one could throw it as hard as I could then, so we won everything for the fraternity. And then when I went for American Cyanamid in 1960, and I joined the Industrial League, and I pitched for years there, and I think that's where Manager Powell saw me and asked me if I would pitch for Matthews Furniture in Plainfield. And I said, sure. At that time, I don't know how many remember this name, but Charlie Columbus was pitching then. And he was, I guess, past his prime, and I was the young guy on the block, so I came in and pitched for Matthews Furniture, which later became Rocco's. I was asked in several interviews if I had someone from my team to come up, who would it be? And that's a hard thing to ask a person, because I would have asked all of them to come. Because although it only took 4 players in basketball to get me on the Hall of Fame, it took 8 other guys to get me this Hall of Fame award. So I'm thankful for my team. But most of all, I want to thank my family. They made a lot of sacrifices to be here tonight. And I'm proud of all of them. I'd like my son Kenny II to come up, and my son Chris to come up. I think they have something they want to say.
Good evening. I didn't wear a tie because I know people think we're triplets. I'm not the oldest, I'm actually the youngest. You said 46 feet away. My father could throw that ball upwards of 80 to 90 miles an hour. And back in the day, it was a riser, it was a drop, changeup, fastball, knuckler. And my father is a very smart guy. So I can only imagine batting against him. But I did get the opportunity, he didn't say, no one said, that before every game we went in the back of our house to warm Dad up. And my brother and I would do rock, paper, scissors, odd or even, who was going to stand up and be the batter, and who was going to catch him. And I'm talking, I was 10, my brother was 12. And he warmed up to game speed. And I know most of the time I was the batter because my brother couldn't catch the ball and he'd have to run about 200 yards to go get the ball. But I distinctly remember my father, as I stood up there with the bat, he'd go into the windup and my first step was back. Chris, just stay there. He'd warm up, throw another one, I step back. Chris, you do that again, I'm gonna hit you. I'm through therapy now. But I'm very proud of my father. It was fun growing up watching him pitch. I was lucky enough to play with him at the end of his career, and with my brother also. You might have a story you want to, you know.
First thing I'd like to do is my brother and I would thank the Hall for recognizing my dad's accomplishments and efforts out on the softball field. I first started pitching when he was being recruited by the Passaic League, and I ended up trying out behind our high school. Was real nervous that day. Went up there and got to throw batting practice, was how they, were judging me, I guess. And I must have done all right because I ended up playing on the team. But I didn't have the kind of control that he had, mostly because of my age. I was just out of high school, or actually I was a senior in high school at the time. And so at any rate, he had gone through, just over the years, the way that he held the ball and, how you throw this pitch and how you throw that pitch. The riser was the toughest one because you almost had to have his speed to get it to defy gravity and go up. But so I never really had a rise ball, but it could put the spin on it to get him to pop up. I also didn't get that, pitching was about just winning the game. I went out there every game trying to strike everybody out, which never worked out well. I got to put a lot of bruises on batters. And one of the things that he did tell me was, you don't have to apologize to them, but you should ask them if they're all right as they're going up the first baseline. And I'm sure that what I was putting on their side or their back wasn't anywhere near what he could do. But so at any rate, he worked with me, with any questions that I had, and just a real good teacher. He ended up playing first base sometimes when I was on the mound, and always encouraging. He'd stand over there and say, I'd get 3 balls on the guy, and I'd look over at him, and he'd say, don't send them down here, I don't want them. so there was that, and I don't know, I'm at a loss for words, but I'm real proud of my dad, and we spent a lot of years watching him play, and he did it effortlessly, which was the thing that I'm going to take away from that. But thank you very much.
Maybe it was a mistake handing the microphone. I said I was going to ask my wife to come up because you'd still be here. I want to just mention one funny anecdote from my career. Is I played in a lot of prisons, softball. I've also played basketball in prisons, but I had the opportunity to play at Trenton State Prison, and we were given a tour of the place, and I got to see old Sparky. I don't know if it's still there or not. But when the game started, we played in the exercise yard, and I noticed that there were quite a few, I think they were called Black Panthers back then. They were all no shirts on, no hair, standing at attention in the hot sun while we're playing the game. And at one point in the game, I threw a pitch that I later regretted because it sailed over my head and into center field. And I thought, well, not to worry. I had Charlie Williams out there, and he was fast. I knew he would run it down and catch it. Well, he got a jump on the ball and started toward the boys that were standing out there at parade rest in the center field, and it hit about 2 and ran in underneath. And I turned around and I said, "Go get it, Charlie." He looked back and he says, "You go get it." I said, no one was bound to go in there. But here again, I want to thank you all for coming here tonight, and I hope you have a safe trip going home. Thank you.